Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you guys. Welcome to the final edition of the Full 100 for the week. It is Friday, the 29th of January, and we've got a mind-blowing show for you today, guys. A really deep show today. The one prerequisite that I'm going to ask of all of you when you watch this is to make sure you share it, because I'm about to blow your minds on the vaccine and anti-vax matter. So without further ado, guys, I'm ready. Let's get down to today's show. Guys, those of you who saw my video on Monday, you know I've had an issue. I disclosed the fact that Donald Trump has been funding anti-vaccine groups. And I found that out on the Saturday, so a week tomorrow, but I aired the show on the Monday. But from that Saturday right up until Wednesday of this week, it's been bugging my mind. The big question for me has been, why would anybody fund the enemy? Why would Britain be at war with France? And as Britain's funding the British army, they're also sending money to the French army who's attacking them. I knew I was missing something, and I just could not put my finger on it. Like I said, until I was speaking to a friend of mine and I came off the phone and it hit me. And that's what today's show is about, guys. We're going to delve into it. We need to be careful whose message we're listening to. Guys, you see, I've never really bought into this depopulation thing because of the way the message was being sold. I knew it was fake. So I never bought into it. I'm going to open my show today now to tell you guys I'm actually a firm believer that somebody somewhere had a plan to depopulate the blacks and the Jews. And we're going to get into it now. First, I'm going to break this down in order. So the first video I want to show, we're going to have a deep discussion later, but the first video I want to show you guys, right, is take a look at how easy it was for any bad actor to get into the black psyche during this pandemic. I'm going to show you a short clip now, a 40-second clip, okay, of basically the history of why it's so easy for us to distrust the vaccines. I get it fully. And anybody gets it. The authorities get it. The scientific world get it because of the bad practices that have happened, especially in America. Especially in America. For Brits over here, we've never had the sort of situation, or it's never come to light. But we do not have the same history the Americans have. So it's really important to remember that a lot of the history of black people being used as guinea pigs is in America, okay? Because they had the slaves, it's their country, their laws, their rules, so they did what they wanted to do. Wherever you are on the planet, if you're black, you feel that history. So I'm going to start with that short clip. Take a look at why it's so easy for bad actors to take set on our communities and why our communities have fallen for this. And I don't blame any single person who has doubted vaccine. I do not blame no one for doubting vaccines. So take a quick look at this clip and I'll see you on the other side.
2020 UCLA study chronicles what Dr. Stanford and Pastor Mitchell appreciate, why African Americans generally do not trust American healthcare and government today. The authors write, the U.S. medical institution has a long legacy of discriminating and exploiting black Americans. It blames experiments from slavery to the 20th century Tuskegee syphilis study, where black participants were lied to by health officials and provided sham treatments.
All of these things have formed this cascade of distrust and mistrust. And now we've got to pivot at this terrible time and try to restore trust and mobilize people for one thing.
Now that's the black community. Now, I've found out during my research that the Jewish Orthodox community also have a thing about vaccines, starting from the measles vaccination. And some of the groups that, in my next clip, you're going to hear the list of groups that were funded by Trump. Some of those groups targeted the Jews in the same way we were being targeted, but we didn't know that. We did not know that. So guys, there are two communities that this whole fake news has been hitting. The black communities and black countries, as well as the Orthodox Jews. Who do the white supremacists hate the most? Blacks and Jews. I would have played you a video of Charlottesville in America, where they were shouting Jews will not replace us, and they had when you see the lights, you know it's all about black people, but they were screaming, they were chanting Jews will not replace us. So this next clip is just a reminder for those who didn't see that video on Monday, the story of the funding, and then we're going to crack on. So take a look at this video.
We found out now that the Trump administration, through its coronavirus stimulus, actually gave $850,000, listen to this, to anti-vaccine groups. While the Trump administration publicly claimed to be pushing vaccination, the Trump administration gave anti-vaccine groups cash. Absolutely and completely insane. 5 prominent anti-vaccine organizations known to spread misleading disinformation about the virus and vaccines received more than $850,000 from the Paycheck Protection Program. Of course, making us ask, why are they giving money to groups that oppose their stated agenda? The stated agenda of the Trump administration is vaccines are good and people should get them. And yet they gave money to groups saying all sorts of dishonest and deceptive things about the virus and about vaccines. The groups are the National Vaccine Information Center, should be called the Disinformation Center, Mercola Health Resources, the Informed Consent Action Network, the Children's Health Defense, and the Tenpenny Integrative Medical Center. You know, Donald Trump said he considers himself a wartime president. He says coronavirus is a war. He said it was against the China virus. That's not what we call it, but he believes that he has been a wartime president. If you give money to the anti-vaccine group during war, isn't that treason?
Welcome back, guys. Right. Now, he's right. Pacman's right, by the way. Let me just say something on that clip quickly. That's treason. Or you can call that being a double agent. If you're going to feed information to one side and information to the other side, you're a double agent. If you're going to fund your army and fund the other side, you're a double agent. And it's treason. So let's get on to it. That bit of information, those 5 groups, you can all do your research on this, because I had to do a lot of research on these groups, right? However, what I found out about these groups, all right, is that many of them have racist backgrounds. Many of them are right-wing nuts. Many of them have grabbed onto every kind of conspiracy going. Many of them have been barred from platforms. Many of them have been criticized by the associations, the medical associations, medical books, medical journals, reputable ones. When you look at that, you can't say what they say when they speak to you. When they speak to you, they say, yeah, they don't want us telling the truth. We've been deplatformed. But when you look at the powerful truth-telling organizations, even Australia barred one of these people from going to speak on vaccines in their country. But I had to look into each of these groups, and I'll just reel off the names again so you guys remember. First, it was the National Vaccine Information Center. You can replay this, and because I had to pause that video you saw and write each of the names down. National Vaccine Information Center, Mercola Health Resources, the Informed Consent Action Network, Children's Health Defense, and Tenpenny Integrated Medical Center. Let's start with Sherry Tenpenny. She's the one, what's it called? Sherry Tenpenny is the one with the Tenpenny Medical, Tenpenny Integrated Medical Center. Okay. Now, she received $72,000 from Trump to spread disinformation. This lady was barred from Australia. Okay. Then the Informed Consent Action Network received $165,600 to spread disinformation in the Jewish community because they're funded by a couple who are millionaires, okay, and who are anti-Semitic. They basically, so they funded specific groups, okay, to go into specific communities. Are you following me so far, right? This isn't just about black people. This is about black people and Jewish people, right? So take a look. I'm going to put up a photo now of this couple. Take a look. Now, they got involved in 2019 before the pandemic started because there was an outbreak in the Jewish community. They then switched their money to groups to disinform them against taking measles. Right? So when 2020 came along and Corona came along, they funded to the tune of 1.4 million. So the money you're gonna hear me mention isn't the only money these groups are getting. These groups are getting monies from people who hate blacks and Jewish people. Listen to me. These groups that have been putting out messages that you've been receiving on your phones, that you've been spreading to your friends and family and loved ones, are people who want to get rid of you. Let that sink in for a minute. Then the next one. Children's Health Defence. They got £145,400. National Vaccine Information Centre received £136,000. Mercola, which is Mercola Health Resources, received the most, £335,000. Now Mercola, the guy, Joseph Mercola, I think his name is, I looked into him. He met with Trump in 2017. He's Trump's buddy. There's nothing anyone can tell me, right, that you can't believe that Trump likes black people. You can't. Not indeed, not now. Even if you did before. And I know it don't stop some black people from supporting him. They don't care. However, this show is about breaking down who is actually trying to depopulate blacks and Jews. And it ain't the vaccine. It's not. Keep watching. So then, we come to, once I've made the connection, guys, between the organizations and the people, I started to notice a pattern. And the pattern is as follows, guys. Do you remember this nurse? Take a look at these two photos. Do you remember her? Many of you shared the videos. I had arguments with people about that video. She, you can see from the second photo, is a racist. She's running with, she's a classic example of these groups that I'm talking about. She runs with QAnon supporters. She runs with fake news carriers. She runs with conspirators. She runs with the Proud Boys. She runs with supremacists. And she runs with nationalists. And she's going to mention in her speech that she cares about African Americans? Really? Do you know what? I'm not even showing you a clip of that because this show is so important. I'm very worried about what I put, whose video I share. Because Facebook and YouTube have a tendency now that you put someone's video up, even if you're criticizing the video, they take your video down just for putting up 30 seconds of that other video. So I'm not airing any of the despicable videos at all on this because I need this to stay up and I need the message to get out. So she is a supremacist who's telling you she cares about you. So listen, do you know what they all have in common? They're all racists. All of the messengers you've been listening to, all of the listen, many of these groups have been taken off Facebook. They bar them from advertising. They've been barring them from left, right, and center, but yet President Trump sees fit to fund them. Do the maths, guys. Please do the calculations. So what's my what's my theory? My theory is this. My theory is that there is depopulation, or there was or is a depopulation attempt. However, they're telling you that the depopulation drive is being carried out by governments and deep states, and don't trust your government, don't trust the scientists who are telling you this is safe. In doing so, they know that the percentages have told them. In the UK, for example, 89% of whites will take the vaccine, but only 54 or 56% of blacks will do the same. But the trick is this. They know these statistics. Of the 89%, you see the remaining 11% who won't take it, they are seen, in my opinion, as collateral damage. Because that 11% of whites are your uneducated, uninformed, probably people on social security. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just telling you their thinking. This is not me. I'm telling you my theory right now. I believe the 11% of the white population, for the people behind this drive, are people that they can do with getting rid of and keeping the 89% of the top genes. But when you come over to the black community, the 46 or 45% who won't take the vaccine and stubborn about it, you've got CEOs, you've got educated folk, you've got community leaders, you've got the bad dudes on the street, you've got the good dudes in the shop, you've got your workers, you've got your family men, you've got pillars in the community made up in that 46%. So whereas in the white community, according to their calculation, their 11% is the bottom feeding 11%, that if they didn't exist anymore, in their minds, in their messed up minds, the white race is fine with that. However, let's get rid of 46% of top to bottom of their communities, including the Jewish community. That's my theory, guys. So whereas we've been looking at these videos thinking who the enemy is the scientists and the governments and stuff, guess what? Your enemy is the messengers who are sending these out, who are infiltrating our communities, who are racist on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then on Friday come on the stage and tell you that they're concerned about the African American community. We're worried about the black countries. Keep your ears open and keep your eyes open. That's my theory. This show, I'm going to not do the same show, but I'm going to keep doing part 1 and part 2. As more evidence comes up, I'm going to do more and more of them. I want to go to something that should let you know that they were talking crap. Because if their theory was correct, guys, and they're trying to get rid of black countries, then you would think that the vaccine will get to the black countries first, right? I mean, if you're trying to poison someone, you don't ingest the poison yourself first, do you? You send the poison over there, get rid of them, and then you eat the real stuff, right? Well, take a look at what's happening with black nations being discriminated against. Take a look at this video.
New York Times is now reporting the European Union, stung by its slow progress on vaccinations, threatened this week to tighten rules on the shipment of Belgian-made shots to Britain. British lawmakers, in turn, have accused their European counterparts of a blackmail campaign that could embitter relations for a generation. And all of this, really, it's first world problems. And I mean that literally, because there is also the issue of poorer nations and vaccines. Here's an official from the WHO.
Even as the first vaccines begin to be deployed, the promise of equitable access is at serious risk. We now face the real danger that even as vaccines bring hope to those in wealthy countries, much of the world could be left behind.
Guys, you can see from that video, the European nations are fighting each other now. They ain't got time to be sending vaccines to Africa. I saw a senator on a video that my friend put up, a Nigerian senator talking about we don't want to be guinea pigs. Mate, you're not watching what's going on. What's really going on is there is going to be this, like I've been banging on, there's going to be discrimination. The black nations are going to get it last because this is killing them too. So guys, this reminds me of, you know when you see them wildlife documentaries, you see the lions eating a new kill and they're in it, they're eating it. Can you imagine the hyenas running around saying, we don't want any of your food. You can't force us to eat your food. We don't want any of your food. Mate, they're busy eating the food. What are you talking about? You don't want any of the food. They're busy vaccinating their citizens. Right? You want another evidence? Take a look at how Israel is treating the Palestinians. And this is another example of what happens if their theory was right. Would Israel not be letting the Palestinians take it first? Get rid of them? Take a look.
Right. Now, the United Nations says it's your legal obligation to make sure the Palestinian people under occupation have a swift and equitable access to COVID-19 vaccines. Why aren't you doing this?
As far as the vaccination is concerned, I think that it's Israeli obligation first and foremost to its citizens.
I understand that, but the Palestinians have asked you for vaccines and you haven't given them some. And under the Geneva Convention, the Fourth Geneva Convention, Israel is required to do so. I can read it back. Article 56 says that Israel must adopt and supply the prophylactic and preventative measures necessary to combat the spread of contagious diseases and epidemics in cooperation with local authorities. Now, that means the vaccine. Why aren't you giving them the vaccine?
Welcome back, guys. I just want to show you a picture. All of those people are QAnon related. All of them are believers and they're all locked together. This is how fake news works, guys. And I had to dig this out. Take a look at this. Guys, that's the conspiracy map. That's how it works. Remember, we're going to revisit this again and again as we get more proof for you. But right now, I'm telling you guys, you were all right the whole time. All of you was right. They're trying to depopulate us. But you were wrong about one thing. Who you think is coming for you isn't who's coming for you. This has been a very deep show. I've worked on this show all week, guys. It's very serious. We're going to revisit this as evidence comes up. Trust me, we ain't done with this yet. But one thing is more important than anything else, other than subscribing, is to share this. If you are lucky enough to see this and this hits home, send it to everyone on your contact list, because we need to start rolling back what these people have done for months and months, if not years now, guys. Okay? So have a fantastic weekend, everybody, and I'll see you all on Monday. Hit the subscribe button. Take care. Bye-bye.